Hello and welcome to 360 Sports. Today we are going to be doing basketball. I'm your host, Carter Ostermiller, and I'm with AJ, Jeremy, and Will. Let's get right into this.
Let's do it.
So, All-Star Weekend just passed, and a lot of people were unhappy with the results. What do you guys think about the game itself, and what was your favorite event?
The game sucked. The game was not a lot of fun. It's one of those where you can't really watch the whole thing just because it's probably something you could be doing better with your Saturday night than be watching NBA players just
at least it was Sunday this time.
Chuck up shot. It's Sunday night, I guess.
We had good events on Saturday. You know?
But I was looking on TikTok 90s All-Star games, and if you listen to the commentary of those games, it's
because they tried.
They tried, and the commentators they got a foul to give. The East has a foul to give, and it was Kobe and Stephon Marbury going back and forth. And now it's just you look, and it's Anthony Edwards with his left hand, and it's just
it was fun. He played the whole year.
The first target score game, the game was competitive. Towards the end, it wasn't getting better the whole.
Kyle Lowry took 2 charges in that game.
He did.
That might be the only time.
That was Kyle Lowry ever All-Star game. And then this.
Now it's
it's just they weren't competing, and as a fan, you want to see people compete. And I saw a video of Kobe from probably 10 years ago where he was picking up full court in an All-Star game.
Yeah.
That's the intensity you want to see, because when the athletes are actually competing, it's a lot more entertaining to watch.
Right.
You also have to remember that Doc Rivers was also the coach.
How many of
the Eastern guys wanted to play under Doc Rivers? I think they just been.
Unfortunately, a lot of them have played under Doc Rivers, and it's been a terrible experience in every single game they've played under Doc Rivers. But yeah, I mean, overall, the weekend was it was all right. Saturday night I thought was pretty cool. The dunk contest was boring.
Dunk contest is terrible.
Mac McClung is the NBA's little circus animal. Yeah. They bring him out for the dunk contest.
What's he going to do when he's playing
and then they send him back to the G League, and he makes more money, in winning the dunk contest than he does on his actual salary, which is astounding to me. But overall, I mean, the Sabrina Curry event I thought was pretty cool. I'm excited to see what they bring it back next year. They were talking about, maybe a little 2-on-2 action. I would love to see them compete in the actual 3-point competition. I think that'd be fun. You get Sabrina in there, they were talking about Caitlin Clark just because it's Caitlin Clark. She's on top of the world right now. But I think it's a pretty cool future for the event. What are you guys' thoughts on
the last time there was a 1v1 3-point contest, it was Draymond versus Kevin Hart.
Right.
Which Kevin Hart did win.
Which is probably pretty competitive, honestly.
I mean, Kevin Hart did win. They didn't want to give him the trophy, which was a whole controversy in itself. But I think Sabrina and Steph was literally the only event I watched all the way through where I was all right, this was cool.
I'll watch something like this again.
Sabrina did a great job. I think win or lose, it was still going to do well for her.
Yeah.
I think the 3-point contest now is probably the best event of All-Star Weekend. It's the most consistent. You get the most literal All-Stars who participate in the event. Dame won again. He's the first guy to ever win it back to back or something like that. And with 2 teams.
Yeah.
First guy to ever win it on 2 different teams. So cool for him. I thought that was the best part. Dunk contest was whatever.
I would love to see next year Caitlin Clark and Dame and Steph and Sabrina.
Caitlin Clark and Dame and Steph and Sabrina.
Yeah, that's what you saw too. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be a good time. I'd be excited for that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But speaking of Doc Rivers, he's been a hot topic lately, and not the good kind.
That's putting it
There's been a lot of beef between J.J. Redick and Pat Beverly about Bucks coach Doc Rivers.
No better podcast.
Whose side are you guys on?
Podcasts.
You guys on J.J.'s side or Pat's side, or maybe both?
I'm with J.J. Redick on this. Doc Rivers is a great coach. There's no getting around that. But he's been all over the league. He's been pretty much everywhere. But he's been coaching for 24 seasons, and he only has 1 championship to show for it. So he keeps going to all these places and not getting the results that they want. So I could understand where J.J. Redick's coming from, especially since he played under him, to the fact that Doc Rivers got to take accountability that it might be him and not the players.
And also, he said he's been coaching for 24 years. He's also been holding on to his hair for 24 years. He's had the same painted on lineup ever since the Boston days. I think it's pretty impressive how it's still going. That just shows how he's not really getting stressed out in the job. He's just getting paid, and then when he gets fired, he still gets paid.
Right.
But I mean, he's 3-7 in the games that he took over. It's just funny. I like how Pat Bev is just and then it's just people were comparing Pat Bev and JJ Redick's stats. They're just completely different players, so it's kind of hard. I'll probably be on JJ's side. I normally agree with JJ for most of his takes because the other side's also Pat Bev, so it's I'm just gonna agree with JJ. I think that he's right, but I'm kind of surprised how they were literally both working together at ESPN before Doc took the Bucks job, and he's just immediately like going after him as soon as he gets hired.
Yeah, it's like they play again, but Friday's their first game back at the Timberwolves, which is probably the hardest place you can play at right now, besides maybe at the Celtics. And it's a test to see how bad the chemistry really is within their roster right now. It seems awful. Doc has absolutely no handle on the organization right now. I'm interested to see how much they lose by. We don't support betting, but I'm hammering the Timberwolves line, every single line I can put on them, Timberwolves all the way. But yeah, that's all I got. I mean, Doc's crazy and is really bad at coaching. Easy enough for that. That's my take.
I'm definitely on JJ's side with all that. I do think it's a little ridiculous that Doc Rivers is even the coach of the Bucks in the first place. Like, I didn't understand the direction
I didn't
of
think it was real. When
Yeah, I mean, they're 3-7 since he's taken over, and I mean, what's the excuse? Like, the roster's loaded, it's stacked, and they're just slipping every game, every week. It feels like, and it's pretty dysfunctional, and it's so dysfunctional now that you got former players and current players beefing over the coach. So. Yeah. It's a mess. Good luck to the Bucks. Not really, though. I don't care
They shouldn't
about
even need that much luck with
need-
the roster they have.
They don't need luck. So I'm fine with their downfall. So I want you guys to answer these NBA questions about the rest of the regular season and leak the script for our viewers. So our first question is, who will win the West? We got a couple of the big teams like the Timberwolves, the Thunder, who are in second. Anybody else maybe?
I'm thinking the Nuggets. The Nuggets are just coming off a championship. They got, in my opinion, the best player in the league, Nikola Jokic. So, and I just think they're going to get hot. They're only a couple games back. It's not like in the East where the Celtics got a 10-game advantage. They're, 2-3 games back,
like
maybe 4.
It's close,
absolute
for sure.
max. So they get 1 week of winning, and they're right in the top spot. So I think the Nuggets could contend.
I like the Nuggets for the top spot, too. Phoenix is a team that, while I don't think they're going to finish in like the top 2 or 3, I still think Phoenix makes it out of the West. I just think that they match up very well against the teams that they're going to potentially be playing. And when you have Kevin Durant and when you have Devin Booker and even like not the best Bradley Beal, but
if he's healthy, when they're
trade
healthy together,
deadline, they kind of got better bench pieces. They have a more complementary team now. I think Phoenix is going to make it out of the West and then lose in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, I think once again I'm going to go with the Nuggets here. Winning the regular season, I could see the Thunder, pulling it off. They're a game and a half back. It's close. The Nuggets are 3 games back, with the Clippers being 2 games back. I think it's a really competitive West. It's really exciting. We kind of get to see it all come down to the wire compared to the East, which is all a little bit more spaced out between the teams. But I think the Thunder come out with the regular season with the best record in the West in the regular season, and then the Nuggets pull away just purely off of experience. Obviously, you can make the same statement with the Clippers, with the Suns. But I think the Nuggets, they're running it back into the NBA Finals, led by Mr. Jokic over there.
Yeah, I'm not too sure who's going to stop Jokic. I definitely think the Clippers have a chance for sure, but besides that, I think this is the Nuggets conference for the taking. Yeah. So pivoting from the West now to the East. The East is very interesting. We were just talking about those Milwaukee Bucks, but quick question, where will the Knicks finish in the East? A injured team, but a team that is beating expectations.
Yeah, I'll take this. I'm a Knicks fan. I've watched pretty much every game so far this season.
Just know his take is tainted. Continue.
It might be tainted, but I'm going to give it straightforward. When the Knicks team is fully healthy, they are the second best team in the East. If you just look at roster, they have a better roster than Cleveland. Okay. When you have a starting lineup of Jalen Brunson,
better roster than the Bucks.
I think completely if you look at the Bucks bench, I don't really think the Bucks bench stands out. Obviously, Dame.
I'd say overall roster.
Obviously,
I agree.
The Bucks have Giannis.
Star power now.
And in the past, when teams have won the finals, you certainly need a top 10 player, which the Knicks kind of don't have. But you look at the bench, I mean...
Jalen Brunson,
OG Randall, Mitchell Robinson, and then even on your bench, they traded for Bojan and Alec Burks. They got Josh Hart. They got Isaiah Hartenstein. They're a good team, but with the injuries, I am kind of concerned about how many fully healthy games that they're going to play.
Absolutely.
So I think they'll finish at the 4 seed. I think the Bucks are going to be above them, and I think Cleveland's going to be above them. And then obviously, I think Boston's going to be at 1.
Yeah, I agree a little bit. I think they can get to 2 or 3. The Celtics have all but secured the first place seed in the East.
We'll come back to this one at the 2nd seed in a little bit, yeah.
We'll see about that. The Celtics are loaded. They've been playing good. So, but I think if the Knicks could stay off the injury list, they could get a chance to 2 or 3 seed in the East.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to jump over the Bucks just due to purely what we've been talking about with the whole Doc Rivers saga. They're a team in shambles right now, and I think they're going to fall, lose another win 3 of their next 10 as well, and kind of end off at the season in one of the 5 or the 6 spots, which will throw the Knicks up in just based off purely the luck of the Bucks not being good at basketball. But also, I do want to highlight Jalen Brunson has been absolutely amazing this year to watch when he's been on. Man puts up 30-point games like it's nobody's business, and you don't even realize it until you look after the game, and you're like, oh, yeah, Brunson had 35. Cool. And it kind of just makes sense. But yeah, I could see them easily getting up into the 3 seed. I don't think they break the top 2, but purely because of the Bucks just being the Bucks right now, I'm giving them a 3 seed going into the playoffs.
Top 2 is definitely a tall task
Absolutely.
for the Knicks, but
Absolutely.
I want to put the label that Jalen Brunson is a star.
Absolutely.
We keep arguing the fact that like the Knicks don't really have the stars, and I agree. Like, is Jalen Brunson a Giannis, level player?
He's
No.
definitely a star.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
I think this team has a serious shot at going to the finals with Jalen Brunson leading the squad. They just got to all get healthy, and I think they have the pieces for it, for sure.
Absolutely.
So now, not talking about the conferences, who will end up winning the NBA MVP award?
I could start with this. I already said what I thought. I think Jokic is far and away the best player. He's unstoppable, and he's a complete player. He's averaging 26, 12, and 9 right now. He's almost averaging a triple-double. And just the impact he has on the game when he's holding the ball, everyone has to focus on him. So the whole defense gets shifted out of place. And he's going to find the open guy every single time, and he's got the weapons around him to do damage.
I'm going to go a slightly different path. I'm going to take Luka. As of right now, I think Luka has like the third best chance to win it.
I think so.
But team record aside, besides Jokic, obviously they're different players, different stats. But when you're comparing point guards, Luka is having a better season than Shea. Stats say that Luka's the leading scorer now in points per game now that Embiid is disqualified because of how many games he's missed. But he's averaging 34. He's shooting 37 from 3 on 10 attempts, which is the most ever in his career. Their scoring is pretty similar, but obviously Luka's getting 9 assists and 9 rebounds a game. The only reason why Shea's ahead of him is because the Thunder are the 2 seed, and I think the Mavs are about 7 or 8 now. But if you see like the Thunder to fall to maybe the 4 seed and the Mavs can get up, I think we're talking. And then also with Jokic, obviously I'm not dismissing Jokic at all, but we saw last year where it seemed like Jokic was the favorite the whole year, and then the media ran a pro-Embiid agenda, and then he somehow got the award.
Yeah,
I think we could totally see that again.
Bothered me so much.
Voter fatigue is a thing.
Like,
So I think-
Joel Embiid, don't get me wrong, is a fantastic player, but they did everything in their power to make sure that Jokic didn't sniff the MVP last year.
I think it's because they didn't
I
want
mean-
to see him they didn't want to give him 3 MVPs in a row. That puts him in
Right.
a caliber
Yeah,
with like a Michael Jordan.
Listen, if you deserve it and you put it out on the court,
fair.
you earn it.
I get that.
And I think
I
he
get that.
earned it last year, and it's nothing against Embiid. It's just the fact that I think Jokic was better. But,
fair.
the past is in the past, and it's already happened, and I have no control over that.
You guys have kind of laid out, the entire field with, I think I would love to see SGA win it. I think as I talked about earlier, I think if the Thunder get that 1 seed in the regular season, this is a regular season award. I think SGA can take home the MVP just purely because he led the best team in the NBA, besides maybe the Celtics if they beat him out record-wise by a game or 2. But I do think, honestly, it will end up being Jokic just because he's so consistently good. I don't like watching Jokic play. It's a personal take. Not a lot of people agree with me, but I don't like
watching
I don't
him?
like.
I love
It's just
watching Jokic.
a boring brand
Jokic
of
will be
basketball.
looking here and he'll find a guy for an alley-oop over there.
Like, it's entertaining.
I love how he plays because
I
he
don't.
makes me mad. I think it's funny. I'm a big Lakers guy,
so-
so watching that last year,
He's
of
just
him
so
just
slow
doing
moving.
like.
It looks like he's almost not even
It's like-
trying.
I don't
exactly.
care.
That's
Yeah,
why it's boring
I-
to me because it looks like he's not playing with effort.
I think it's awesome
You
for
think
like
that's
the
boring?
common
I think
guy.
that's awesome. I think it's so funny because
it's so boring.
how he just looks like the most unathletic person on the planet, and that's coming from someone who's not athletic. And
But I wanna watch-
he just is making shots and making people look like fools. Like, it's
I-
hilarious.
I want to watch Giannis make baskets because I think he's more entertaining.
You can watch
I
Giannis
can.
if he doesn't get beat in the first round by the
That's
Heat.
fair. There you go.
Jokic
All I'm
Easy enough.
saying is, if
Doesn't
you
do
show
that.
me blank stats and a guy who's averaging 34, 9, and 9 doesn't win the award,
I hope
Gonna be kind of
But
I
what's
want
Jokic-
SGA to
I mean,
win.
Jokic
I think it'll be
is-
So without
awesome
team record, so
for a
it's-
young guy like that to get an MVP and just prove his like dominance in the league would be awesome.
I have really
guess.
no horse in this race because no one in the Lakers has a chance. But
We still. Love LeBron,
I'll still rock with Jokic winning it. I think he's the best player in the NBA,
Yeah.
and I think they have a serious shot at still getting the 1 seed. I know you like your Thunder, but
I do.
I think
Absolutely.
I think it's about to get really interesting after
Yeah.
this All-Star break.
The West will be the conference to watch for sure. The East is like whatever at this point. we're
They're
all
fighting
locked in
for
on
the
the
second
West.
seed
Yeah,
over there.
we're all locked in on the West here. It's the better conference all across the board. So easy as that.
All right, so we're going to do a little bit of a blind ranking, and we're going to get a couple players, and we're going to rank them 1 through 5, and who we'd want to start a franchise with today.
All right, come to a little group consensus for all of these. Make it easy. Make it easy for everyone. Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton. All right.
I mean,
So we're going
Tyrese
to
is a
have
good
I don't know
player.
who we're
but
gonna
is
see here.
I feel like we're seeing the peak of Tyrese Halliburton.
I don't know if I
don't
agree
know.
with that.
I can see.
I don't really know how much
see a
better he
future
can
for
get.
him.
He's a great playmaker. He's a great scorer.
Absolutely.
But I don't think he's ever going to get to like a superstar type player.
I think he's
I
already
think just
there.
his playmaking ability gives him superstar caliber level.
Because
of
he
play.
needs the physical aspect of his game to improve. Because he's already a great passer, he's a great facilitator.
Right.
His shot making ability is improving. So if he gets that physical aspect to complete his game, he could.
Especially if
he
I'm
has the
franchise
world.
building around him. I mean, you give him, 3 spot up shooters.
He's also
he-
the first. You know, he's the
he's-
first NBA player named Tyrese. Serious.
Which is
Him and-
enough.
fun fact.
Which is
is
Tyrese
enough.
Maxey when they got drafted were the first players named Tyrese.
That's great.
NBA.
I love it.
You know he has 2 different voices?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was wild.
I put him
that
at
was
All
wild.
right, we got to rank them, though. We gotta rank 'em.
3 consensus.
I
3?
like 4.
4.
It's nothing, no disrespect.
I think 3 is a
I
good
mean, then
spot.
see
All
where
right.
the next guy's
I
going.
see
We
the
can work
all-star
from it.
jersey, and I'm thinking a couple all-stars,
I like 3. I like
3?
3.
I think 3 is a safe
Okay.
spot.
All right.
We're going
We'll
3 for
rock with
Tyrese. 3 for Tyrese.
See, Paolo I would put below him because
He's
you don't.
definitely-
Okay,
Because
yeah,
you
I
build.
agree.
It's very rare that teams are built around like players like how Paolo plays.
I guess that's fair. Absolutely.
Like Paolo kind of reminds me of. I don't really know. Not very similar, but like Blake Griffin in the way that like they're
Interesting.
kind
Yeah.
of like power forwards, but they kind of like need a guard to like.
to get
like-
the ball to him at least.
I would put Paolo at 5.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
I don't know. We're gonna see through it. Yeah,
I don't-
I'm
yeah.
thinking 5.
It's
So
no
5.
disrespect to him, but
Yeah.
it's,
He's a great
he's young.
player. He's a great number 1
5.
pick. Like
Yeah,
he's an
absolutely.
all-star this
He's
year.
finally coming into his own as a player, and it's been pretty good to see. But yeah, let's start with 5. And
See, Ant
1.
is someone who would go above Tyrese
1.
because Ant has scoring. Ant has shown that he can improve his
leave
scoring.
like
You're
an
so
avenue.
worried. I do-
know. I'm so worried we're gonna get like Luka, and I'm gonna be
Okay,
like, all
yeah,
right, well,
definitely do 2, but like I'm so biased. I'm obsessed with
Ant's
Anthony
great.
Edwards.
I think-
he's so fun to
good.
watch.
He's phenomenal.
He's a star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Explosive, fun to
two
We,
watch.
we have to keep it short and
Yeah,
simple.
I think
Rock with
Grant-
2,
I
no
think
suitcase.
I'm thinking
But
2.
yeah,
Two
I don't know.
Grant.
1 and 4 is a big difference. So.
I know.
It can't be 4.
Yeah, well, we
I'm
can,
saying I
we can
wouldn't
move
put
the
him at 4,
list.
but I'm
Yeah.
saying for the next person, if we do put him
I
at 2,
guess.
then
We
gotta
can
put him
change the
above
list
him.
for that.
All right, we'll
Put him at 2.
we'll lock into
4.
Cade.
And
I can
Cade's a
see
good-
we can throw Cade at 4. You
Yeah,
can't put
4.
like you can't
Nah, I
put
feel
Cade
good.
above. I don't think I
Cade's
could put
good.
Cade above Tyrese.
No, you couldn't.
Hopefully
Right.
we don't get
But
like,
I would also
Okay,
put
I don't
him
know.
above Paolo.
Hopefully we don't get
I
anybody
think-
terrible for the
I
one.
think
I
our-
mean,
I
Killian
think-
Hayes, we might be in trouble.
I think our image of Cade Cunningham is a little like tainted here because he plays for Detroit. Because this guy's
fair.
a star. He came out of
Okay.
came out of high
They've
school,
got so
He's
many good
100% a
pieces
star.
on this
I
team now.
agree.
They've got young guys on this team now. They need to.
and he's the only
The
guy that's
Pistons-
like been able to prove
And we're-
himself.
right,
He's putting up
exactly.
these great numbers on this terrible team.
Yeah, but the rest of the guys need to
When I'm
step-
saying
need to
4,
step
it's
up.
not even in disrespect. It's just
Yeah.
the fact that
Yeah, I can't put him
also
above.
we
I
haven't-
can't put him above Ant, and I
Yeah.
can't put
He's
him
been a
above.
solid
Yeah.
player, but he hasn't had the jump yet.
Right.
He's
Yeah,
put up
he's
a
gotta-
solid 20
yeah.
point per game guy, but once he gets that jump, we'll see. Which he's
needs
very
to-
capable
he
of doing.
needs to
But
be
as
the
of right
number one
now,
overall pick.
he's a
Yeah.
4, I think.
Yeah. All right,
I'm
4
feeling
for
pretty
Cade.
good.
Who's going to 1? See,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
see,
we
we're
got
good.
it.
We're
We-
good.
we got it. We're
This is
good.
perfect.
I think if Wemby came up first, I would have put
I
him
think
up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would have personally still put Edwards over Wemby.
I would not.
Nah.
Not
As a
close.
rookie
There's
year,
too much
you know,
upside.
it's
There's way too much
I'm
This is
upside.
not talking about
There's-
upside. I'm talking about
But this
right
is we're building
now.
a franchise, though.
I would not.
We're starting
You
a
got to
franchise.
think about the future.
This is
Yeah, that
his first
is
year.
fair,
He's doing
starting
what
a
he's doing right
franchise.
now. I mean,
Wemby is
should he have
having-
been an all-star? Maybe.
It's tough.
It was
Western
Yeah.
had
the
Okay.
first
He's
half.
playing on a
the
pathetic
best is-
team,
Oh,
so he can do whatever
I'm
he
like a
wants.
big guy in players having like a dog factor in them. If you know what I'm talking
Right.
about, like
Yeah.
I'm a Lakers fan. I watch Anthony Davis. The guy's got no dog in him. All right, like
Yeah,
I love him.
he's mentally
He's
weak.
all bark no bite. He's a great player, but
Yeah.
I just feel like when I look at like starting a
He's a happy
franchise,
guy.
I look at Anthony Edwards. I'm like that
Yeah.
guy has dog in him. He can lead
I
a group
agree.
of men. You know,
I think, but with Wemby, I mean, you don't get a rookie leading in blocks
no.
per game, and you can't say he's,
he's
not a
he's
dog.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like,
And also, like, this is the worst Wemby year we're going to get in the next 20 years. And he's averaging...
Potentially.
He's
Yeah,
averaging
I mean,
assuming
that's-
injuries.
yeah.
You know,
I mean,
fingers
anything can
crossed
happen, but
he's
you can't
healthy,
really
you know?
like assume a player's going to get hurt.
Right.
But, and also, how many elite rim protectors are there in the NBA?
Right.
2 or 3, and
Yeah.
Wemby's one of them.
And
And you
Wemby's
don't
one of
get
them.
you don't get guys like this, and you can build a team around him. If you get Trae Young in the Spurs next year, and you let Trae Young do his pick and roll thing that he does with Clint Capella with Wemby,
How's he getting to the Spurs?
I
mean,
Anything could happen in the NBA offseason.
That'd be awesome.
all part of the
for them,
script.
but-
We leaked it earlier, but we just leaked it
Actually,
again.
I would
Yeah.
hate it because it's in the West. So.
Or just any point guard. That's not Jeremy Sohan or Trey Jones or
Sohan
anybody.
is.
I feel pretty good about our rankings, though. Like
I
feel like that was
we did
pretty good.
I'm happy we saved. I'm happy we saved the one for the one.
Little pat in the back for
Yeah,
everyone.
there you go. Good job all around.
Okay. So we're gonna be doing past to present, and I want you guys to give me a player from the past and their current day comparison, and explain why you think they're similar.
Easy enough. All right, we're gonna jump over to the board for this one. I'm gonna kick us off. I want to give a big shout out first to Kenny. He gave me the inspiration for this pick. The best role players of all time, 1 and 2 right here. Enough said. You got Draymond, absolute demon, boards, defense, leading the reason he came back from his suspension. The Warriors became slightly better. We'll see how they do after the All-Star break. This is, half of Kenny's take. I'm also in support of Kenny's take. We talked about this on the last show. And then Dennis Rodman is Dennis Rodman, defensive rebounding. It doesn't get much better than how he played and the support he had for MJ throughout their entire 90s stretch. Draymond the same exact way for the Warriors dynasty in the 2010s, and that's still continuing to this day. They were both impact players late in their careers, and throughout the entirety of their careers, Draymond is still making a big impact. Sure, he might be a little chippy here and there, but that's exactly what you want. Both of these guys were chippy guys. Talked back a lot, referees, other players, a lot of smack talk all around the board. That's my comparison. Enough said. Draymond, Rodman.
I like that.
Done deal.
Best with passing. Draymond, you got passing. Rodman, you kind of got rebounds.
Exactly. I mean, I don't see a much better comparison. Once again, shout out Kenny for the inspiration for that comparison. And there we go. Will, what you got?
Time for my pick. I'm going to go guards here. One of them's still playing, but it's obviously kind of not in the peak of his career. I'm going with Ja Morant and Derrick Rose. I think that they're just so very, very similar. If you kind of look, and it's kind of, we don't know how the rest of Derrick Rose's career would have played out, and we don't really know how Ja Morant's career is going to play out, but they're both, if you look at their first 5 seasons, both Rookie of the Years, both top draft picks. Their third season, that was when Rose won his MVP. That was when Morant won Most Improved. They were averaging about 27. They're both similar with the way that they're slashers. They're very athletic guys who get to the rim. They don't shoot the best from 3, but they still shoot a respectable amount. And if you just look at the teams that they were on during the time, Derrick Rose had Joakim Noah, who was the Defensive Player of the Year. Ja Morant had Jaren Jackson, who was the Defensive Player of the Year. They were the 1 seed that
Don't
one year.
forget Steven Adams.
Yeah, I think they were the 1 seed. I think that year in about 2010, the Grizzlies had a 2 seed year. There's extremely just similar players. They kind of have this similar attitude. I guess Ja Morant's a little bit more outgoing and has a little bit more problems kind of outside the court, and hopefully he can get that all settled. And hopefully we get to see I think when people say, what if Derrick Rose, I think we'll see that with how Ja Morant's career plays out.
I like it. I'm a fan of that one.
I like that.
Big fan of that take.
And then
What you got?
I decided to take some not as well-known players. You know who they are. I took Cam Thomas of the Brooklyn Nets and Joe Johnson, also known as ISO Joe. I took both of these guys because they are elite scorers. They have a very similar play style, and that play style is give them the ball and get out of the way. Let them go to work. Games on the line, shot clock's running down. These are the guys you want to have the ball. They got no fear, all confidence, and they're going to get you a bucket every single time, especially when the game's on the line. And I especially like Cam Thomas because I believe this year he started the first 3 games of the year, scored 30 in all 3 games that he started. Only the second player ever to do that besides Shaq. So he's in good company, and he's a young player, and I think he's on the come up. The Nets need to use him more than he is. But these guys, just if you watch them side by side, the similarities are remarkable. There's always attacking. They got the go-to fade away, and they're just going to get the ball in the bucket every single time, without a doubt.
Bingo.
I like that.
A little more. I mean, we got slightly more outlandish the farther we've gotten. Carter,
All right.
you bringing us back to reality here?
So, a little bit. A little bit of both.
Little bit?
So this is my pick. Anthony Edwards and Michael Jordan. Okay. So first of all, I want everyone, at home who has a phone, internet, go Google Anthony Edwards and Michael Jordan. You're going to find a nice, cool picture of their faces split. And it's weird how much they look alike. But not just about how much they look alike, the absolute aura that both of these players have. These guys are the heart and soul of their team. And without them, their team, their franchise, well, we'll see with Anthony Edwards, really is nothing. Without MJ, the Bulls, who cares? And I think that's going to be the same thing with Anthony Edwards here. I think Anthony Edwards is going to revive and put just juice in this Timberwolves franchise that we haven't seen since KG. I'm a huge fan of his play style. It's very similar to Michael's. It's, he's not as good as Michael, obviously. Michael is, the second best player of all time. But I seriously
You just
think,
angered some people.
Oh, I know.
You just angered some
I could
people.
hear it, but, I don't care. But yeah, I seriously think Anthony Edwards has a bright future. I don't know if he'll be as good as Michael Jordan, like I'm saying, but their play styles are similar. They both have that dog in them, and I just love players that have dog in them. Because I know when I see a player like Anthony Edwards and Michael Jordan, I know when the game is on the line, I have faith that my star is going to win the game. So these are two dogs, top of their game, and I love them both, even though LeBron is better than Michael Jordan.
Does that mean Anthony Edwards is the second best player of this generation?
Yeah,
that's a loaded question right there.
Jokic. All right.
Are they in the same generation? Can we call them the same
I'm
generation?
just messing. All right, so moments of the day. We're gonna, go a little quick here. So Penn State's own Kanye Clary is no longer with the basketball team. He was their leading scorer and one of their only returning players from last year. That stinks.
Yeah.
It really
I'd
does.
say basketball, I believe in Mike Rhodes to turn the team around. When I committed to the school last year, it was around the time where the Big Ten playoffs were going on. So I'm watching Penn State hoops, and we're going to the finals against Purdue. I'm like, all right, I honestly know I'm gonna see football games, basketball too. I kind of realized that the whole team was seniors, and the whole team this year is now all transferring new guys, and then it's kind of Penn State basketball needs some work to do.
Penn State basketball became VCU basketball, and Kanye Clary got a concussion, and then he was no longer part of the equation, and then he walked.
All right, so
we don't know exactly what happened, but we're not going to speculate.
Moving on to the next moment. Justin Fields recently unfollowed the Bears on Instagram and said it was because he wanted football on his timeline. Either way, where do we think he'll play next season? I just want to say this: he's not very good at football, so it doesn't matter.
You're going to anger a lot of people, including me.
Oh, guess what? I don't care. Look up the stats. He ranks a lot of stats that are out of the 32, and guess how many quarterbacks are in the NFL? 32. So
you got to take into consideration he's playing for
he's
playing garbage Bears.
He had DJ Moore this year.
Okay, he's got no line though. He's got 1 second to
define the quarterback.
So he has no line. No weapon doesn't define the quarterback. So how come I hear the same thing every year with the Bears? It's like, just put pieces around him, add pieces, help him out.
To be fair, he's only been here for 2 years, and they
he
didn't
needs
add any
everything,
pieces around.
That's more of a front office issue than a Justin Fields issue.
They brought peace.
He's got terrible accuracy. He couldn't hit water if he fell off a boat. Get out of here. He's got a nice arm strength, but that's about it, and he runs. I don't really know
where he's going to play, but I will say when the Bears got the #1 pick, they're going to take Caleb Williams. I don't really think it's a debate that people are making it out to be.
It's not a debate.
I think they're trading down.
That would be the worst decision in their franchise.
Trading down?
And I'm all for it. Please don't draft Caleb Williams.
You take Marvin Harrison?
That's what I was thinking.
No, keep him. Please keep him.
Because you're a Vikings fan.
I want him in the division. You know the one time he beat the Vikings?
You're still going to lose to Jordan Love.
Yep.
My
Packers don't lose. We own the Bears.
When Kirk Cousins was healthy, we destroyed Green Bay.
Will Kirk Cousins be the quarterback?
I'm just saying, when the Vikings are healthy, they destroyed Green Bay.
You guys have the Pastronaut.
The last time we lost to the Bears was this year, and Josh Dobbs was playing, and they only beat us by, I think, 2.
I thought Josh Dobbs was your savior.
Josh Dobbs stinks, but all respect to him. I love the guy, but he's not good at football, and Justin Fields isn't either.
He's good at navigating spaceships, though.
So Yamamoto was reportedly offered more money by the Phillies, but still chose the Dodgers as his MLB home.
Because why would you want to play in
Why do you guys think about this? I have a firm opinion on it.
He was going with the Dodgers 100% of the way through. Yeah. If the Yankees or if the Phillies if he wanted to go to if he wanted money, the Yankees or the Phillies or any of the teams who are offering, they would have gave him the money.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not a problem. He wanted to be with Ohtani. He wanted to be in the Dodgers. Whatever. I mean, maybe. That's probably the reason. We don't know the exact reason.
The West Coast is also...
He wanted to be where he wanted to be.
The West Coast is super
attractive. He wanted to go somewhere else. He would have got the money.
A lot of the players who come over, with the exception of, I'm blanking, the Red Sox guy who they just got last year.
What were you saying? I missed
a lot of players pick the West Coast.
Masataka Yoshida.
Yeah, Yoshida. With the exception of him, a lot of the players, pick the West Coast. It's the closest they can. It's the closest most of them get to their, to their respective countries that they're from. Whether that be, Japan, whether it be Korea. Most of them choose the West Coast. Yamamoto was going here. Ohtani was going to the Dodgers.
Yeah,
It was
I
Soto-
hate
Soto,
that
and Soto and Judge
Dodgers.
are going to be the best
and
1-2
Soto
punch in all
and Judge
baseball next
will be
year,
the
so.
two best outfielders to ever exist together ever.
Soto isn't even going to. Not Soto. Shohei, I don't think he's going to pitch this year.
No, he
He's
won't.
on
He's
surgery,
not this year. He's
But
a
yeah,
pure
I agree.
DH
Soto
now.
and Judge are definitely the best in the league.
We love Soto.
And when Dominguez comes back, I mean, that's your outfield of
That's
the
your
future.
outfield.
That's the best outfield of all
Yeah.
time. So we'll see.
Yeah, thank you
Okay,
for the
well,
whole thing. But-
that's not. Soto can't play outfield.
All right,
That's whatever.
So, tune in tomorrow for a great show,
Oh,
a frenzy, live at 5:50. You're not going to want to miss it. Some great hosts and analysts, and that is 360 Sports. I'm your host Carter Ostermiller with AJ, Jeremy, and Will, and thank you for watching.
Have a good night, y'all.